Hi, I'm Shaka Hislop, and you're here at Extra Time TV.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the watch along for the Trinidad Tobago match. I actually got ready just in time. It is 6:02 a.m. Trinidad Tobago time, so I know a lot of people are probably still asleep. I'm trying to get some of my score lines up. I don't know why, for some reason, it's not working. But I'll figure out that at halftime. So, I think it was more important to get the game started. And as you can see here, for those of you who are looking, the game is available on FIFA Plus. So Venezuela, I'm seeing their lineups here now. So Christopher Varela, John Aramburu, Jorge Iriarte, Mendoza, Marquez, Balbo, Osio, Alfonso, Gonzalez, La Madrid, and Araujo. And they have their coach who took over from Batista, Osvaldo Vicarando. So if you're just joining us, folks, whoever is in here, you can let me know if you're hearing me okay. For some reason, I'm not seeing a lot of my my usual, my chat box and things like that. I'm not sure why that's happening. I don't know why it's not even showing, but it's in there. I'm not sure. My graphics are just not showing up. I usually have a clock here and whatever, and for whatever reason it's not showing. I'll figure that out as well. For those of you who are just joining in, welcome. It's an early morning in Trinidad and Tobago, and we're about to start. The players are just exchanging pleasantries, and this is for the FIFA Series. So like I said, I do apologize in advance. I'm not too sure why I'm not seeing my graphic on the screen. I will figure that out in a bit. At halftime, maybe I will mess around and see if I can get it fixed. But I haven't seen the Trinidad and Tobago lineup yet. I will be trying to work on some of the graphics while we're talking. So for the Trinidad starting lineup, Denzel Smith, Jaren Jackie, Ryan Telfer, Rio Cardines, Dwayne Mockett. Interesting addition. Levi Garcia returns. The captain, Rion Moore, Dante Gilbert, Justin Garcia, Andre Rampersad, Noah Powder. So if everybody's in here, you can let me know if you're hearing me okay. How my audio is sounding. It's very early. And for those of you who are in the chat, welcome back. Let me know where you are. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and so on. For the substitutes, we have Jabari Bryce, Tishon Ragu, new call-up, Deron Payne, Lindell Sween, Yearwood, Adam Pierre, Nathaniel James, John Paul Rushford, Daniel David, Chavonez Hamilton, Roald Mitchell, Real Gill, and Yahim Faustin. Head coach Derek King. So we had our match preview as well for those of you who checked that out. If you want to check it out afterwards and see if Andre and I got it right, Andre Samuel. So the game kicked off. Like I said, usually I have the time on top. I don't know why it's not showing. I apologize in advance, but I'll do my best. So we're 5 seconds in. Venezuela's ranking is number 50 in the FIFA rankings, and Trinidad at number 97. So this is a game that a lot of people, ever since the qualifiers, stopped. These are good competitive friendlies for us. A lot of people want to know where our future is at. And the game has kicked off. Venezuela applying a lot of pressure, but Trinidad doing well to resist that pressure. And it's a bit of a back and forth. So both teams on the attacking front. Trinidad already kind of making some headway into the box. A shout for a penalty. Is it a penalty? No way. I would be in let's folks. Wow, there's a lot of action. We're literally 10 seconds in. Did Mockett draw a foul? I think he did. So, folks, we have a penalty for Trinidad and Tobago. A through ball that got past the Venezuela back four. And Dwayne Mockett drawing a foul with Levi Garcia. So, we're taking a replay here. The keeper is claiming that he got the ball. I'm looking at the replay here. Let's see. Oh, yeah, no, that's definitely a penalty. It's definitely a penalty. So a bit of a horror start for Venezuela and a great start for us. Trinidad and Tobago with a penalty. Levi Garcia stepping up. So, we don't have the greatest record with penalties. Varela doing his best to try to get the best of Levi Garcia. So, folks, we're just 1 minute and 32 seconds in. We got a penalty. Levi Garcia is on the spot, doing the mind games. I can't believe I'm doing this very early in the game. Did Levi score? And it's saved. Of course it's saved. Of course. Because we can't have fun in Trinidad and Tobago, of course, with our national team. We can't. We absolutely can't. You see, these are the things. I don't know. We don't have that killer goal scorer. This is not me attacking Levi Garcia, but I've seen this before, not just with this squad or this coach or other teams, but you know, those nerves. In a situation like that, you have to be ice cold. And, you know, with a team like Venezuela, who plays in the CONMEBOL region and plays really well, you know, you can't allow that to happen. You can't allow it to happen. Now, Venezuela is going to get their chances in there, and they're going to feel a bit good about themselves in terms of, you know, saving that penalty is a good morale boost for them. And it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And like I said again, folks, I do apologize. Usually I have a lot of graphics up, and I don't know why it's not showing. Even the chat as well isn't showing. So if people are in here and I'm not seeing it, I apologize in advance. But I will try to work on that at halftime and see what's going on, why that's happening. So, folks, if you're just joining us, we're 3 minutes in. Trinidad has already had a penalty that was missed by Levi Garcia. It was saved. And, you know, what a way to start the game. What a way to start this game. I literally am quite flabbergasted. You know, it's 6:05 a.m. Venezuela now on the attack. You know, we have to take those chances. And when you don't take those chances, you know, it kind of sharpens up the other team. And, you know, I don't want that situation where we're having after the game where, hey, you know, listen, we are... Oh, my God, I'm seeing a replay of the penalty here. Levi. So the keeper got a hand to it and he put it onto the post. I don't think it was the best penalty. For those of you, you know, I've worked in and around some football teams. That's kind of the height you don't want to go as a footballer. When you're taking a shot, you try to get the goalkeeper to go the wrong way, or, you know, that height is perfect for goalkeepers. Absolutely perfect. So what would have been a perfect start for us now is not. It's not. So, folks, in case you're seeing me looking all over the screen right now, it's because I'm trying to get my graphics up on the screen. I'm not sure why it's not happening. I've done this a million times. So, Trinidad Tobago now, keeping possession. I guess it's back to square one now. Venezuela are applying a certain amount of pressure here. Trinidad are doing okay. We are doing okay. We are seeing that sort of proactive approach that Dwight York spoke about. Derek King encouraging his troops on the sideline. So, folks, if you're in here, like I said, it's 0-0, 4 minutes, and you missed a lot of action. We had a penalty missed for us by Levi Garcia. So we're now approaching the 5th minute. And Venezuela, you know, we seem to be the more proactive team. Trinidad and Tobago have definitely taken the initiative. So that attitude has definitely continued along from the Dwight York era. Derek King, you know, obviously was a part of that staff. So, you know, I think, as we said in the preview, the changes won't be that much in terms of mentality. But for now, Trinidad applying a certain amount of pressure. Venezuela trying to keep possession at the back here, trying to calm things down after that hectic start. They are a experienced, very improved South American team, I would say, in the last, 20 years. You know, that stereotype of them being the whipping boys is not true. They play in a strong confederation. Venezuela whipping the ball in, causing some problems for Jabari. Being able to force a corner here. So it was a bit of a long ball up front, similar to ours. You know, everybody has that tendency to like the tiki-taka and passing the ball around. But, you know, Venezuela and Trinidad both resorted to very direct balls that created chances. So Venezuela with a corner here. Like I said, folks, I'm not sure why my graphics are not showing up on the screen. I will try to fix that at halftime. I usually have the time and the scores. I will work on that when I get a chance as the game is going on. But I will still do my watch along. And I'm not seeing the chats as well, which is kind of sad because I want to hear what you guys are saying and see what you guys are saying. Venezuela with a far post corner, but well dealt with by Jabari. Well done. So a pretty chaotic start, folks. Like I said, if you're just joining us, I know it's very early in the morning. You know, Trinidad and Tobago getting a penalty and not converting within the first minute of the game. Levi Garcia stepping up, and it was, some would say it was saved, it was missed, but it wasn't the greatest penalty in the world. We do lack that killing instinct with Trinidad and Tobago, and that's not a new thing. You know, Levi Garcia, I'm hoping this doesn't come back to bite us. Venezuela is a very strong team now. They play in a very strong confederation against big teams. They take big scalps in South America, including Brazil and Uruguay and sometimes Argentina. So this is a team that is definitely a team that I think we should be playing more often. But Venezuela now getting a bit more control, trying to keep some possession and calm things down a bit after that hectic first half. South American teams are known for very good possession. So that's what they're doing. Trinidad kind of trying to close the gaps, not pressing too much with selective pressing here. Good tackle here. Trinidad Tobago doing well to draw a foul and take some pressure off themselves. So if you're just joining us, folks, we are approaching the 8th minute and a lot of action took place. Welcome to the live stream. Usually I see the comments up on this side here, but I don't know why it's not loading up. I will work on that while we're playing the game here, watching the game, but there's been a lot of action, folks. And if you're in here, be sure to like and subscribe. While you're in here, drop some comments as well. I will try to figure out what's going on with the live stream and why I can't see the comments right now. I'm probably sure people are messaging right now and I'm not seeing it. I'm not sure why this is happening. But yes, so Trinidad now keeping possession in their half, passing things around. And we're actually doing okay. We're doing okay. I think definitely we're seeing some continuity from the Dwight York arena. Like I would like to say, a lot of people are referencing the Bolivia game. It was a very different squad. It's a lot of the players that are here, were not in that Bolivia squad. I think they were probably trying out players. But I think this is a very, not the strongest lineup, but a strong lineup for Trinidad and Tobago. Once again, Levi Garcia playing in that false 9 role, but Venezuela snatching possession in the middle of the pitch. Trinidad was trying to kind of find that gap, keeping the ball, but well recovered by Rampasad. A nice combination play between Rampasad and Telfer in our box, creating a bit of an attack down the wing here. Levi out wide, which I believe is the strongest area. In swinging cross. Should be opportunity for us. I don't know. Oh, he should have taken a shot immediately. We did have an opportunity. I think, once again, the killer instinct being a problem. We should have just taken that shot. I couldn't really make out who it was, but opting to kind of hesitate and keep the ball in. So we are creating chances, which has not been a problem for us in recent years. Trinidad and Tobago calming things down. Mocket and Rampasad. Trying to create those passing triangles in the middle, trying to control the pace of the game. They are looking composed. Rio Cardines, of course, marauding up and down that right wing. And folks, if you're just joining us, I know it's an early morning game. A lot of people are sleeping. So I want to say a special shout out to everybody who's here and awake and checking things out. I will fix my graphics. I usually have cool graphics with the scoreline and the timeline, which I will fix at halftime. So if you're just joining us, we're 10 minutes in. Venezuela 0, Trinidad and Tobago 0. So there's our ball out to the wide right. Cardines putting pressure, forcing a throw in for us. So I would say outside the missed penalty, which is a bit heartbreaking to see because we're not the greatest with these penalties. I've seen us miss penalties before. It's only so much coaches could do. Anybody in the live stream, I can't even see your comments right now. It's making me a little bit sad. I don't know why I can't see it. But, I'll just continue doing my commentary. So, 10 minutes in. If you're just joining us, welcome. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It is 0-0. And we're approaching the 11th minute. We already missed a penalty. Creating some good chances. I think we're doing well to control the game. I think Derek King is familiar enough with the team and, the continuity from Dwight York to at least give us a similar approach. It is very proactive. We do look pretty composed in the middle of the pitch here. Cardines with some nice combinations here. Venezuela doing enough just to throw them off and shield the ball from Telfer. Telfer applying some pressure up front. So we are definitely not sitting back. We are definitely applying pressure up front. So from what I've seen so far, if you're just joining us, we're actually playing really well. I think we're playing pretty good. I hate to use that word good, but we did create one half chance. Now we have a corner for Trinidad and Tobago. Rio Cardines is, it's a throw-in, sorry. And, I know we have been using a lot of long throw-ins. We do have a couple of videos on the YouTube channel, folks, where, Rio Cardines had his post-match comment. So halftime, you can check that out. Like I said, I do apologize for the lack of the graphics on screen. I don't know why it's not showing. So it's a long throw-in as expected. Cleared by Venezuela. Bit of a scoffed shot. But we do have possession here. Jaren Jackie doing well. Telfa applying some pressure. Venezuela, who are capable of causing some problems. We did force a throw-in. So we're doing okay. I think we're doing all right. Alfonso trying to clear the ball, but ended up giving a throw-in to Trinidad Tobago. So far, so good. 12 minutes in. A lot's happening. Mocket all the way back in his box, calmly passing it back to Jabari. We are looking. I am impressed so far. This particular team looks way more composed than maybe against Bolivia. But mind you, it was a different squad. There's chemistry is a big thing. Some of these guys are familiar, even though there are some new players in the squad. You could see the familiarity is paying off. And once again, the goal-scoring edge came back to hurt us in the end. So, folks, like I said, if you're just joining us, I will have the graphic up soon. I will try to figure it out at halftime. I'm not seeing the chat or the graphics. I'm not sure why that's the case. But I'll figure it out in a bit. So we're 13 minutes in. Trinidad Tobago keeping possession really well. Mocket with a one-time ball trying to release Telfa. Venezuela reading it well comfortably. And I'll be honest, Venezuela has not been very comfortable so far in this first half. And it could have been 1-0 for Trinidad Tobago, but unfortunately Levi Garcia missed him from the spot within the first minute. I didn't get a chance to catch my breath. But if you're just joining us, folks, it is 0-0. And I will have the graphics up. And I would love, I'm sure you guys are commenting, but I'm not seeing it right now. I'm not sure why that's happening. And I hope I can resolve it before the game is over. So, Venezuela looking a little bit rattled. And, to our credit, we are putting a little bit of pressure on Venezuela. They're not dominating by any means. I would say we have created and dominated most of the chances so far in this first half. And, Derek King would be very happy with what he's seeing so far. Obviously not happy about the penalty miss. The miss from the spot. Venezuela keeping possession in their half. Trinidad applying selective pressure, not pressing relentlessly, but you could see it's controlled pressing. And, you could see Levi and those guys, when they start to proceed to the middle of the pitch, they apply a certain amount of pressure to close down the passing lanes, and doing so pretty successfully. Venezuela has not been able to create that much. And the thing is, we have to take advantage of these phases of the game. I mean, even that goal, we should have been 1-0. I'm seeing some of the chats coming in now, finally. I think it's starting to work. So welcome, Ronald Samuel. I know a lot of people are chatting, so what do you think about the game so far? I will have the graphics up soon, Ronald. What do you think about Trinidad Tobago and where you're watching from? Did you see the missed spot kick? Let me know. Venezuela with a bit of a half chance there. A through ball that was a bit tricky, but well read by, shielded by the Trinidad Tobago defense. I'm a huge fan of our goalkeepers. I think we have always produced, top quality goalkeepers. And of course, the commentators curse as soon as I said that. He kicks the ball straight out of play. It was meant for Cardines. But I love that we are attempting to really improve our goalkeeping, ball-playing goalkeepers. So, like I said, good morning, Ronald Samuel. Watching from Trinidad. Very nice. I know it's very early, folks. So, at least the chat is back up and running. So, anybody out there, just test out the chat and let me know you're in here. We are aiming for that, 10,000 subscriber count. We just reached 3,000 a couple weeks ago. Thanks to you all. And I think it's a great start, Ronald. I think it's a great start. So for those of you who are up, I know a lot of people on the commuter work. If you're listening on your radio, on driving, I can understand that. I hope you're listening in on your Bluetooth in your car. And I hope my voice is soothing. But like I said, be sure to like, subscribe, comment. Head over to extvmedia.com, our YouTube channel. We have a match preview. You can now purchase merch and support the channel as well with the super chats. So I will try to figure out the scoreboard situation so you all could see that. But so far, I don't know if it's a glitch in the software I'm using, but at least the chat is back up and running. Venezuela creating a bit of a half chance. Is it onside? Was it offside? Venezuela getting a clear chance on goal, and it was a horrible finish. It was blasted over bar. He's probably hoping it really was. It was not offside. So that's a bit of a scare. So let's take a look at the replay here. It looks a little bit offside. Chesting it down and blasting it over the bar. Yeah, I think he would definitely not want to look at that replay. Definitely would not want to look at that replay. So, of course, we started off well so far, but it would be unrealistic not to assume that Venezuela would not create a chance. And, Venezuela has a similar problem to us with finishing. I mean, their famous striker Rondon and a couple others. Venezuela probably would have been in a better spot. Venezuela fumbling a ball here, giving possession to Levi Garcia in their half. Levi trying to win possession, but South American players are very physical. They know how to draw fouls, as I just saw case in point. Levi Garcia forcing a foul from Levi Garcia and taking some pressure off of Venezuela. So you could see Telfa and Levi, giving instructions how to press. We are causing them a little bit of problems. The pitch looks wonderful from what I'm seeing. So everybody else in here, feel free to let me know where you are, where you're watching from. I will be giving away random prizes to random commenters in the stream and subscribers. So, just some incentive. But like I said, I do understand it's very early in the morning. A lot of my viewers are probably driving to work. So if you guys, anybody who's not from Trinidad Tobago, please let me know. And like I said, I do apologize for the graphics on the screen. I usually have the score on the squad, and it's just not showing right now. So I will figure that out at halftime. Hopefully it resolves itself, because the chat wasn't working at first, but now it's working, I think. So Venezuela with some possession in their half. Venezuela is definitely not the kind of team that will dominate you, but they are very comfortable in possession. They have quick, pacey players. They have improved their game for the last it's not a new development. They have been improving for a long time now. And it's not a surprise if you're playing against teams like Venezuela and Brazil and Argentina and Uruguay and Colombia. Very well, Venezuela had some possession there, but calmly dispossessed by Rampasa. But then we quickly lost the ball. So it's a bit of a scrappy situation right now. Venezuela with a long-range shot, and it went over the bar. Over the bar. And like I said, they do have a similar problem with finishing. They do have a similar problem with finishing. So while we're talking, while we have this pause, I'm going to try to fix the graphic on the screen while we have a couple seconds. Let's see now. So like I said, folks, feel free to drop the comments. I see there's a couple viewers in here. And I don't know. I don't know why it's doing this. But I'll figure it out. We'll figure it out, folks. We shall figure it out. So back to the game here. Venezuela trying to apply some pressure. Trying to go down the wings here. And folks, let me know if you're hearing me okay. Let me know if you're hearing me okay. If the stream is okay, if the sound is okay. I see there's a lot of viewers in there. I'm using the FIFA Plus app. The last time I used YouTube and a couple of other apps to see the Trinidad games because they were on the CONCACAF site. Like I said, if you're just joining us, we're 20 minutes in. Venezuela ranked 50th in the world, Trinidad Tobago 97th. It is 0-0. There was a lot of action in the first minute of the game. Trinidad Tobago creating some chances, missing a penalty. Unfortunately, Levi Garcia had a penalty saved. It is a bit of a problem for us, goal scoring, and even in the past. This is not just like a Derek King thing or Dwight York thing. I've noticed that for a long time now. We do lack those killer instincts. I think this. I think I stepped away from the mic there, Ronald. Hopefully it's okay. So you could let me know. Keep me in the loop. I appreciate the feedback. Let me know what's going on. I will try to fix the scoreline when it happens. I'm not sure why it's not showing up, but I will work on that. Even as we're speaking, I'm trying it. So, it's a bit frustrating, but I will figure it out. So we're approaching the 21st minute. Venezuela winning possession. Whipped in cross, intercepted by Rampasa, not well cleared. Venezuela getting possession once again. As expected, we were never going to expect 100% dominance in this particular game. So as we're moving along here, Venezuela starting to kind of try to take the game to Trinidad. But to be fair, Rampasa is doing a pretty good job marauding around that midfield, winning the ball. Levi Garcia released on the wing. This is where we want to see him. Going to take on his man. Maybe push it a bit too far. Beating his guy in the box. Trying to cut back. Maybe forcing a corner. It's not. It's a goal kick for Venezuela. So like I said, folks, any chance I get, I'm going to try to fix the score on the screen. I'm not sure why this is happening, but it is. I don't know why this is happening. It's a bit strange. It's a bit strange. I'm not sure what's the reason for this. If you hear any clicks, is because I'm trying to refresh the graphics on the screen here, and you know it's a bit of an interesting situation. But Trinidad and Tobago, Venezuela trying to calm things down a bit from what I'm seeing. Applying not much pressure on us. I think they're trying to slow it down. I think we may have caught them a bit off guard. And, you know, I personally think we're doing great. It's a shame that we're not 1-0 up right now. So everybody's in here. Ronald, let me know where in Trinidad you're looking at this game from. And of course, folks, if you're just joining us, be sure, don't be afraid to like, subscribe, and share. And, you know, enjoy the stream. And I will try to fix... Oh, I saw somebody subscribe there. Thank you. It's Ebrima Jabi. Wow. I'm actually seeing the notifications now. So now I'm seeing the notifications, which I was not seeing before. But now I'm not seeing the score, which is crazy. I'm not that's pretty insane. Oh, somebody else just subscribed. Who is that? That is, let me see if I can, Sleepwalker. Wow. So some subscribers are coming in, folks. So we are approaching the subscriber goal that we're looking for. Venezuela with a throw in deep into our area. I will try to work on that at halftime and see what's going on. It should be showing, but clearly it's not. Trinidad doing well, not clearing the ball pretty well. There's a bit of back and forth with the headers. Jabari, a split second of miscommunication. Never thought I'd be up this early to watch a game. Welcome, Davon, 111. Yes, you know, when you love your football team, you do this. And like I said, welcome to the live stream. It's 0-0. Let me know where you're all watching it from. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share, and all these things. I will have the scoreline up at halftime. I will try to get it fixed. I don't know why it's not working. The stream, the chats wasn't working for a little while, but now it's on. Ronnie Joseph, how do you see the match live? You could go to FIFA Plus and look at the match live, and, you know, make sure to stay on the live stream with us as well. So welcome, Ronnie Joseph. Like I said, everybody in here, don't forget to, you know, like and subscribe and share, and let me know your thoughts on the game so far. I will have the scoreline back up. I usually do have it. And, you know, I appreciate everybody who's up. So for Ronnie, if that's what you want to see, that's where you go. You go to FIFA Plus, and it's available there. And everybody else in the chat, if he's having problems, you can help him out. And let me know if you all are hearing me okay. So the game has sort of balanced off a bit. I would say Trinidad has the better of the chances so far. I'm going to pull up some of the SofaScore stats while we're talking. So according to SofaScore, in terms of possession, which I'm not seeing here right now, Levi Garcia missed the penalty. According to SofaScore, there's an 86% chance that Venezuela will win, and 7% for Trinidad, and a 7% draw. I'm not getting much stats, but according to SofaScore, both teams playing a 4-3-3 formation. Rian Moore, Levi Garcia out wide. So he's not playing the false 9 role that I initially expected. Rondon is not starting. And then you have Segovia, who plays the Inter Miami guy. I'm kind of excited to see him, although he's for the other team. So Venezuela with a free kick on their half of the field. So we're seeing that. Ronnie, so yeah, Ronnie, don't forget to subscribe. And everybody else in here, I know there's a lot of people probably driving right now. So Venezuela with a free kick on top of the box. I'm not sure why I'm not getting the scoreline on the on my screen. According to my thing, it should be here, but it's for some reason it's not showing. But I'll figure it out, folks. I will figure it out. I'm not sure why it's happening, but I'm taking a chance here while the free kick. So it's just outside our box, a dangerous area. We have improved our heading ability so far in terms of handling these sort of things. So Trinidad setting up their defense here. And, you know, could this be a potential goal opportunity for Venezuela? So, folks, like I said, I know a lot of people are on the road. I know a lot of Trinidad and Tobago fans. It might be difficult to look at this game. So kudos to the ones who are, those who are listening on your audio devices, listening to the EXTV live stream. I hope I'm doing a good enough job. And so the free kick is, the wall is set. delivered in. And fortunately for us, it was deflected wide for a corner for Venezuela. So the wall doing its job. And now a corner for Venezuela. If I look away from time to time, it's because I'm trying to fix this particular problem we have right now with the graphic on screen. So Venezuela with a corner now in the 27th minute. Let's see how Trinidad Tobago handles this set piece. A lot of jostling in the box near to Smith. Whipped in. Very good delivery. Not well cleared by Jabari. There was a bit of a fumble in the box there, but the ball was eventually cleared. When we score, you will get through the score on the screen. I hope so. I hope so, because it usually works. It's usually up there. I take a lot of time with setting it up. If you look at my last streams, if you have looked at my last streams, it's usually there. And I actually can't really figure out why this is happening. So while we're talking, we're doing it, but I'm also trying to do my commentary. So there's another free kick for Venezuela, folks. So Venezuela now applying a little bit of pressure on Trinidad Tobago that wasn't there before. So it's very 50-50. Whipping it in to the far post. Jabari once again not clearing it convincingly, and we have now conceded another corner. So the last two corners were not well cleared by Smith, sorry. And, Venezuela, if you look at South American footballers, South American football and qualifiers, they're very combative. I'm not saying other teams are not, but South American football has that physical element. This is good for us. This is a good friendly for us. So once again, another corner. This will be the third corner in succession. You can see there's some jostling in the box there. The referee's having a bit of a discussion. I can't make out who that is. And Venezuela. Let's see if they'll go far post. Taking the corner short this time. Whipping in a in-swinging cross. Trying to go far post. I saw the idea. They tried to pull the players out and score from the far post, but was not able to execute. So I think it was Telfer doing enough just to kind of throw him off. Ronald, I remember your name. Ronald, I don't know what's going on with my score. It's just not coming on. I set up the entire thing last night, and it didn't work. So that's why every couple of seconds I'm going to take a look down. I have a second computer I'm using here right now to try and figure out why that's happening. So if I pause for a couple seconds, that's why. So we're approaching the 30th minute. It is 0-0. Since you can't see the score, on there's a bit of a water break now. So while they're doing that, I will try to fix what's going on here right now. Trinidad missing a penalty in the 2nd minute, folks. What do you think about the penalty miss? For those of you who saw it, what's your thoughts on that? It's to me, it was a bit disappointing. But it's something I've seen before with Trinidad Tobago. I've seen this before. I saw a couple times. I think Jovan Jones he missed a penalty. I think there was a time we had some shootouts where we played really well. I think when Stephen Hart was the coach, we lost shootouts. Even all the way back in the Stern John days, I think when we played one of the qualifiers against Mexico, we eventually won that game and we played really well, but we missed a penalty. So it is very, it's a bit frustrating at times. A bit frustrating. So I'm going to try to do this while there's a water break right now to try to fix this thing on the screen, folks. I really want to give you all the best. So if I pause for a couple seconds now, you know why. So there's a cooling break. 30. I don't know what the temperature is like there for those of you who know. Uzbekistan, I believe. Referee is gesturing for the players to come back on. We see Balbo on those guys getting back on the pitch for Venezuela. Trinidad, I'm guessing it's very warm there. Spot kicks need to be more accurate on the spot kicks. I agree. Levi Garcia missed a penalty in the 2nd minute. We got a penalty. It was a very clinical, direct pass where it resulted in a foul, and Levi, he got the keeper pushed the ball onto the post, and unfortunately, it was saved. So to answer your question, Devon, it was Levi Garcia. But with all that being said, we have played really well. But folks, this has been a problem for us. But speaking of Levi on the wing, getting the ball out there to, I can't see who that is. My glasses clearly not working right now. Trinidad Tobago doing well with the possession, I think. Keeping the ball. Game management is an issue I always have with Trinidad and Tobago and managing the middle. Those players have a high footballing IQ that don't just have the physical attributes, but the ability to slow the game down, get physical if you have to, speed things up. That's something that's sorely missing, I think, a long time. We usually rely with a lot of athleticism on the wing. But I have seen a lot more composure and better decision making. But, goals win games, as they say. As cliche and stereotypical as it sounds. So to my people in the live stream, let me know where you are. I know a lot of you probably watching while driving or listening while driving. Please don't be watching while driving. I don't want to be responsible for that. Probably in the office having breakfast, wherever you all are. It's 6:37 a.m. in the morning. I think Jaren Jackie slipping there, but doing well to recover. I think that was Jaren Jackie. Trying to create some nice combination plays. A very intelligent decision to pass the ball back with Venezuela putting pressure. So Venezuela is allowing Trinidad and Tobago. It's almost a similar approach. It's not high pressing, but they're allowing us to come in the midfield. And the front three of Venezuela, press, selectively. So it's a very selective, not a relentless high press. Which is, very hard to sustain. For those of you who watch teams like Marcelo Bielsa and so on. Ronald Levi is a great player, but too much relying on him. Yes, I think he needs to, he's to me, I see him as primarily as a right winger. Very good. Dangerous in that position. And, I think to be fair, Dwight York had been trying to solve that problem. Coaches before have been trying to solve that problem. I'm going to be very honest. Since the Kenwin Jones era, we have not had that number 9. The Kenwin Jones, the Stern John. Even for those of you who know, we had a couple guys like Jostling and Plaza who kind of looking the part. I think, Plaza was really talented from that crop of players. But since then, we haven't had that number 9, that reference point, that person up front. I mean, the role of a number 9 has changed. A terrible back pass, but Smith doing enough just to clear it out. Venezuela applying some pressure there on Trinidad and Tobago. So Venezuela trying to slow things down to a comfortable pace. I think they have realized, and this is what I call game management. Venezuela quickly realized, hey, we can't really run pace to pace with these guys. And as I said in my match review, you could take a look at that afterwards. I did say, because I follow South American football a lot, Venezuela is susceptible to pace. Colombia, you saw that in the last game. Colombia defeated them 6-3. So, you can't get at them. It's just finishing. So Venezuela trying to get down, creating a shot, well stopped. A little bit of a shaky moment for Trinidad and Tobago, but well intercepted. I think it was Jaren Jackie, I can't tell. I can't really see the player numbers really well. Venezuela once again trying to apply some pressure in phases. They're not relentless. They're picking their moments. So it's an interesting tactical matchup. I'm enjoying this game from a tactical perspective. And like I said, folks, at halftime, I will try to figure out what's going on with the scoreline and why it's not showing up. I'm not sure why that's happening, but we'll see. So the ball is back in Venezuela's half here. Devon Levi is a good winger, but it's clear that he's not a true number 9. His play usually looks good, but he never finishes the job. And Devon, I think, they are trying the false 9 thing, which is a big thing. People talk about it with Pep Guardiola and Messi, but it was really made popular again by Luciano Spalletti at Roma in the early 2000s. Roma for a while were not playing with a traditional number 9, and Totti was a false 9. But I think I understand the thought process of using Levi. He has the physicality and the dribbling skills, and maybe just lacks that composure. He thinks more like a winger, and we all saw that. I mean, if you look back at all the games, could you imagine if he took the chances he was supposed to take in those games? We probably would have been talking about our first game in the World Cup right now instead of this. But, it's something to work on the foundations. And speaking of his physicality, he is winning the ball, but Venezuela, they are no slouches, very physical in their own right. And they are capable of causing major problems for big teams in South America. So I've always maintained that we should have always been playing friendlies against Venezuela. This is all the way back in the early 2000s. I'm giving away my age a little bit here. So, the Trinidad and Tobago trying to reassert themselves in the middle of the pitch, but Venezuela seems to have settled down. And they are winning the ball and then attack at pace. I think our defenders are fast enough to handle them so far in terms of 1v1 running. A bit of a theatrical fall there by the number 14 for Venezuela. Forgive me for not knowing his name. But Venezuela once again in possession, trying to get down the wings there. So the game, I would say, is about 50-50. And I'm going to do something I've been told, folks. The last couple times when I did this, my throat was really sore. So I was told to hydrate as much as I can. I didn't sleep well because I woke up to do this. And I do have a new mic, so y'all can let me know how this mic is sounding. So, well won by Telfa, but then quickly dispossessed and fouled by Venezuela. And you can't expect that physicality from the Venezuelan national team. You must expect it. They're South Americans. And, you know, Venezuela's new coach on the sideline taking over from Batista, who was in charge of the Argentinian youth setup for a long time. Then it was Mascherano for those who follow that, and now it's Diego Placente. So Rio Cardines, who I think has been like Carlos Edwards reincarnated. Carlos, a good friend of mine. Carlos, I hope you're out there and you're looking at this. You know, these guys usually support my stream. I really appreciate everybody in the stream right now. You all have been really helping the channel and supporting and helping. If you want to purchase merch, subscribe and follow. All these things head over to extvmedia.com. So we do have possession in midfield. Cardines with a cheeky back heel. A nice combination play down the wing, creating some spaces here. I'm actually kind of impressed by that. Venezuela doing enough to kind of force us back, and then Rampersad was dispossessed. So some very clever build-up play, however, it was stopped by Venezuela. Very beautiful tackle, I would say. I don't know if it's Rampersad, I can't tell. To win the ball back. I really appreciate tacklers in football, folks. I think it's a dying art. It's an underappreciated part of the game. People focus on attackers and dribbling, but seeing a beautiful tackle is one of the most majestic things you could see. You can see. So Moquet, you know, floating all over the pitch, kind of like what Molina was doing. And I always saw Moquet as kind of the successor in that number 10 role. I remember years ago when Dennis Lawrence was still the coach. And you know, Stephen Hart and those guys. I remembered coaches at the time mentioning, Stern John and those guys mentioning Dwayne Mockett when I was doing a lot of my data for teams. Venezuela, not a very good cross in our box here. Not well cleared. A bit of a battle on the top of our box here. Venezuela, to their credit, physically going toe-to-toe with us. A very scoffed pass by Venezuela, but somehow managing to keep possession. Trying to get the ball wide with a one-time pass. It looked like something I would do. So, folks, if you're joining us, if you're on the road right now, I hope my voice is sounding great in your cars and your Bluetooth. I know a lot of people is on the highway right now heading to the chaotic traffic that is Port of Spain traffic. Cardines doing well to win possession. Attempting to release Levi, this is a strong area 1v1. He's taking on his man. Venezuela trying to recover, trying to thread the ball into the box, but it was intercepted. Levi trying to take on three guys. There's an overlapping run. Levi goes back to Moquet. Moquet orchestrating, trying to keep the ball, looking for places to get the ball, intelligently passing it back to Cardines. So we're in the 40th minute. It is 0-0, folks. If you are just joining us, it is 0-0. Trinidad Tobago missing a penalty in the second minute. And, you know, it could have been 1-0. But to be fair, Trinidad, you know, have been playing a pretty decent first half outside that miss. Hasn't created much chances still then. The game is kind of even right now. Venezuela and Trinidad both feeling each other out. I have a feeling whoever scores this first will really, I know that's cliche, but will completely open up the game. Venezuela trying to get through on the wings, but Trinidad actually doing really well in the 1v1 situations on the wings. So you can see Venezuela trying and probing different ways, not attacking with too much pace. Trinidad almost forcing an error there. Venezuela trying to keep the ball in their own half. The ball just eluding Moquet, trying to intercept the ball there. So Venezuela calming things down, playing the game. You know, game management, as I said. And attempted through ball, but it was well read by the defense of Trinidad and Tobago. So kudos to those guys. I'm giving them a lot of compliments because they deserve it, folks. You know. Protein drink of champions. I should block this because, you know, I should let brands pay for and not give them free advertising. What do you all think? So I like the composure where a lot of our goalkeepers now try to be ball-playing goalkeepers rather than in the past where they would just keep the ball. So they're doing something I like. The goalkeeper is keeping the ball to try to draw the Venezuelans towards him, which will create spaces. It's something I really liked. I mean, if I ever coached a team, I've worked around the women's national team, I would... That's something I really think in modern football works, especially for teams that are very tactically sound. Venezuela would have thrown in, but quickly dispossessed by the Trinidad defense. Not a good pass. A wayward pass in the middle, giving the possession back. Looks like a foul. Could have been a call for handball for Venezuela, but Venezuela getting a foul on top of the box. So Venezuela with a set piece just at the top of the box. Just in the middle of the box as well. So we'll see. It's a pretty tricky angle. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes. And like I said, folks, I do apologize for the score not showing up on the screen. It's usually here. I'm not seeing it. I'm seeing the notifications. Yes, questionable passing. Roblox Gamer Boy, welcome back. You all watched the Brazil friendly game. Yes, I did actually. I did. I looked at that. I actually took in a couple minutes of the Jamaica game. You know, congratulations to Jamaica folks and my Jamaican viewers. You all got that win last night against New Caledonia. That's pretty massive. I wanted to do a live stream for that, but it was just too impossible. I would have gotten zero sleep. And folks, sleep is very important. I may do a stream for the next Jamaica game as well. So Venezuela, before I continue with the chats here, they have a free kick in a very dangerous area. Venezuela not well known in recent times for their free kicks, but they do have the players that are capable of scoring, including one from the bench, Segovia as well. So Smith setting up his wall here. We have some pretty tall players, so I'm hoping the wall does its job. Let's see how it goes. Bit of a tricky set play, but didn't really work out in the end there. Trying to outsmart Trinidad Tobago, but eventually the wall did its job. But yes, Roblox Gamer Boy, welcome back. Yes, I did watch the game, and France, you know, France has a really strong, well-balanced team. Brazil looks a little bit lost right now, but, you know, I know it's incredibly cliche, but, you know, they have Ancelotti. That's the point of friendlies. I always remembered back in 2002, a lot of Brazilian fans may forget this. Oh, a ball into the box there, a bit of a half chance of Venezuela, but it was blocked. A bit of a half chance. He is claiming a foul. And you have to expect that. You know, that's part of the game. For those of you who are looking at the game, that is a part of the game. You do try to kind of, you know, get the calls and so on. Some people go about it and they call it the dark art. Some people do go about it in a more honest way. But it's part of the game. Trinidad will be glad, a bit relieved. Because sometimes those calls can go other ways. I've seen refs given fouls for ridiculous things. So Trinidad, we're approaching halftime. And it's 0-0. And we've been playing okay. The stadium looks pretty empty. In Uzbekistan there, I don't see a massive crowd there. But I mean, it's two teams, Venezuela and Trinidad, who probably have no home fans there. So it's an interesting choice of location. But this is a very good friendly for Trinidad and Tobago. So we have 1 minute of extra time. I'm not too sure what's happening. There seems to be a discussion in the middle of the pitch. I'm not sure what's happening. I think they're still discussing the possible penalty. VR is telling the ref something. He pointed at his hand, gesturing for the handball. So I'm not sure what's going on. I would be very unhappy. I see both captains having a conversation. Looks like the discussion is over and it's nothing. Thank goodness. The officiating, I have no complaints about the officiating so far. I think it's been pretty straightforward and fair. We got a penalty and we did not take our chance. So game is about to resume. I'm guessing the ref may add on a couple, maybe 60 seconds because of the discussion with VAR. So I guess both teams, I would say Trinidad going into the end of this half would be the less happy team because of the penalty miss. I think you know, in a game like this, when you don't take those chances, you will regret it later on with teams against, you know, Venezuela, make no mistake, is a top team. They are a top team. So we're approaching the end of the first half. If you're just joining us, folks, I will try to have the scoreline up by the end of the, by the time we resume the second half. So I may step away from the screen for a couple moments to see if I can fix it. But if you're just joining us, be sure to like, subscribe, share, head over to extvmedia.com. And folks, as I said before, we do give away. So people who comment in the live stream, subscribe, comment in the videos as well. We have this software that pulls a random person And the last winner was Mark Molino. He won a signed jersey with 4 players from the Trinidad Tobago national team. And, we make do giveaways. Teams of your choice. The World Cup is coming up as well. Corey Matthew, welcome to the live stream. We've just approached the ref, just blow the whistle. Halftime is just over. It's 0-0. Levi Garcia missing a penalty in the second minute of the game. And it was a bit disappointing. I don't think it was a well-taken penalty. But to answer your question, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, Corey. Welcome. It was Levi Garcia. So while we're talking and having our halftime talk, usually I would take a bit of a break. But I'm going to try to fix the score on the screen while we're talking. So, folks, keep the comments coming. I'll keep it talking. Let me know what you think about the first half. How do you think we played? Where you're watching the game right now. I know a lot of you are on the road, probably driving, probably listening to this. So, let me know your thoughts so far about this particular friendly, what it means for Trinidad and Tobago. I have a whole match preview I did with Andrew Samuel. You could check that out as well when the game is done. We'll be doing a reaction as well. We'll probably have Lance Whitaker on to talk about the Jamaica game. Congratulations to Jamaica. They did really well in their last qualifier last night. So that was very impressive. Very, very impressed by that. So, while we're talking, it looks like I'm looking off the screen, it's because I'm trying to fix it. So Roblox Jamaica game and Caledonia playoff was very poor last night. I didn't get to see the entire game because I wanted to stay awake and look at this particular game. So I'm trying to, as we speak here, fix the live stream. So while I'm talking here, I'm going to try to fix that. I don't know why that's happening. I really don't know why, but I'm going to try to work on it. And of course, we have the ticker tape underneath where the information is being updated as we speak. So I'm not sure what's happening. But if you're looking at the game right now, I'd really love to hear your thoughts. I'm seeing a comment. So I'm looking at the replay here now. So in the second minute of the game, Mockett was fouled in the box. And we got a penalty. So welcome Sean Lyons, 1305. Well, we're actually looking pretty good, unfortunately. It's 0-0. We got a penalty in the second minute and it was missed by Levi Garcia. But I think overall we're playing okay. Venezuela is a strong team. And I think, we should have been 1-0 by now. But once again, goal scoring has been our problem. Roblox Gamer. Hey, Getmore, welcome back, Getmore. One of my most loyal supporters. He gave me my first super chat. I can never forget that, folks. You could do that as well if you want. It really helps the channel. I recently had to repurchase a bunch of equipment. That's a whole other story. I don't know why the scoreline is not showing up. I'm trying to fix it while we speak. So Roblox, Levi Garcia, yes, missed the penalty. Levi Garcia was denied by Venezuelan goalkeeper. Yes, he was. I think it was not a well taken penalty. Usually you try to get the goalkeeper to move and go in the wrong direction, or at least go for one of the corners really hard. And he went for that perfect sweet spot for goalkeepers, which is kind of in the middle area. I noticed because I worked around goalkeepers, and that is a problem for us. Small boy. Welcome to the chat, small boy. I love that name. Welcome to the something just missing in the final third. Yeah, correct. And Sean, welcome. And folks, like I said, if you're just joining us, if you haven't done so before, be sure to like and subscribe in the live stream. It really helps the channel. Be sure to follow us on all our socials. I will be loading it up right now. Check it out. Boom. So you can follow us on these socials right now. And, continue to do that because it's not just to help me. It helps the channel. And also you qualify for chances to win prizes. Jerseys, giveaways. The last person to win was Mark Molino in the random draw. And he got a signed jersey from Trinidad and Tobago with 4 players. Kylie Overy and a whole bunch of other guys. Jaren Jackie. We will be giving away more giveaways as well. Possibly a copy of EAFC. And maybe a football jersey of your choice. The World Cup is coming up. So I'll be doing some streams for that. So continuing that. So Getmore, what time is it where you all are? It's 10:56 here in London. Getmore, it is now 6:56 a.m. It's an early morning game for us. So I actually did not do the Jamaica game because I wanted to wake up to do this game. So I denied myself a little bit of sleep because you all are my people. Fardeen Hussein, good morning. Now join. What's the score? So it's 0-0. Farid, sorry, my bad. Farid Hussein. Welcome to the live stream. It's 0-0. Levi Garcia unfortunately missed a penalty in the second minute, and we're actually playing okay. And Getmore, of course, one of the biggest champions and loyal supporters of Extra Time TV. Hit the likes, people. And as Getmore said, folks, be sure to do that. It really helps. It really helps. And now you can purchase merch. It delivers globally. All those things go towards helping Extra Time TV. It takes a lot of work to do this. As you can see, at waking up really early. I had an incident in my studio where a lot of equipment got damaged. Off the camera here, you could probably see some of my jersey collection here. You can't really see it too well. See, there's a Julian Alvarez, but there's a whole bunch of them in there. I had to rearrange and clean the studio, and I lost a lot of equipment. So, folks, be sure to help when you can. We're trying to get to that 10,000 subscriber mark. We just crossed 3,000. So, you know, I'm seeing people in there. And I am trying to work on the score line right now to get this score back onto the screen. So, Roblox Gamer, it will be a shame if Italy fail to qualify for yet another World Cup. Then we'll be playing, I'm not sure, playing on Tuesday coming. Is it Wales or Bosnia? Did Wales lose that game? So are they playing Bosnia? I thought, wow, okay, I'm going to have to check that. Italy, you know, I'm a huge fan of Argentina, but I do like Syria, and I think I kind of knew that that team was good enough to beat Northern Ireland. But even then, they made a lot of hard work of it. But, you know, it will be strange, crazy to not see Italy. I think they are good enough to make it. They were good enough before. But, you know, something is, Italian football is not at its best. It's always been with Italy. They have really high highs and really low lows. Now, Venezuela has 63% possession of the ball, while Trinidad has 37%, which is not good. Yet the possession is not, that's not good at all. But I would say overall, considering the quality of the Venezuelan team and the chances created, I would say it's not perfect. It has not been perfect, but I think we're doing okay. Wow, I did not know Wales lost. Because I was looking at the Italy game, and I think at one point it looked as if Wales was winning, if I'm not mistaken. So that's crazy. That's crazy. Well, kudos to Bosnia. You know, that's going to be very interesting. Very interesting. Italy has that psychological weight. I did feel a lot of people mentioned to me that was a bit unfair that Italy got to play their game at home. Bergamo, Italy, which is the home of the Atlanta team. You know, Gattuso saying he played that at home because, you know, it took some pressure off the players. So, you know, who knows? So even while we're talking here, folks, if I'm looking away at times because I'm trying to get the score back up on the screen here, and I don't know why it's doing that. So I'm going to try to fix this. I'm going to refresh, see what's going on. I don't know why this is happening, but I'm going to try again while we're fixing this. I don't know why this is happening, but I will try again. I don't know why this is happening, but I'm going to try to reload it properly. So I'm going to try to add it while we're talking here. So you're all going to see me in real time do this. That's what I love about live stream, folks. So keep the comments coming. Suriname, heartbreaking loss of Bolivia. Correct? Absolutely correct. So let's see. Let's try to reload the score here while we're talking. Y'all could let me know what you're thinking. So I'm going to try to fix this. Let's see if it works. I did fix it, folks. There we go. There we go, folks. There we go. Live on screen. EXTV's Andre gets it done. Are you all seeing it? Is it popping up on the screen? Did I do a good job? I just have to fix the clock now because now we're in the second half. So great. The scoreline is back. We're back in business, folks. I don't know why it didn't work. I don't know why that happened. What's the reason for it? But it's back now. So I can relax a little bit now. I promised I would fix it, and I did. So it is 0-0. Let me read some of the comments here now. Yes, Wales lost. Oh, I read that already. Devon Andre, who do you think could be a game changer for us and clinical finisher if we were to sub Levi? I really like him, but I really begin to think that he may need someone natural to go on. But, you know, the thing is, we do have... oh God, what's this guy's name? You know, Dwight York has been, when he was the coach, was trying out different players. Let me pull that up really quickly. I can't remember his name. Is it Roald Mitchell? Is that his name? Let's see. Let me get the squads back up here. I just want to make sure I get the squads correctly. So I think Roald Mitchell and Nathaniel James might be the option, but then we have the same problem because we did try Nathaniel James as a substitute last time around. Some random YouTuber came on my screen here. I want my screen back. Where is it? I'm going to put my cool screen back on. Let's get it back. Let's see, folks. See, I'm doing these things live to make it look pretty. Okay, I don't know what's going on. I'll sort that out afterwards. But yes, I think Roald Mitchell would be a good person to come on. So there we go, folks. It's back. What do you think? I made these things myself, folks. I think so. Reading the comments here. So Darren Payne shouldn't have started instead of Noah Powder, and I'm actually glad to see Payne back because of the injury. We spoke about that in the match preview. Welcome, Oren Hernandez, and like I said, everybody continue to subscribe. We want to get to that 10,000 mark. Everybody's out there. Let me know where you're from. Continue to like, subscribe. You could engage in the super chats, make donations, purchase items. It's delivered globally, so you don't have to worry about that. I know Get More. You asked me that once. It delivers all over the place. In terms of bringing on, I think I would leave it as is, and I would probably eventually bring on Nathaniel James or Roald Mitchell. In terms of the goal scoring question, to answer your question, Devon. So moving on, Suriname from Kingsley. Welcome back again, Kingsley. Suriname heartbreakingly lost to Bolivia yesterday. Yeah. I felt as if Suriname should have taken that game. I think Iraq will beat Bolivia like 2-0. Yes, Bolivia is not a very strong team away from home, folks. They have improved, but they're very, not that much. Roblox, I think Iraq. I think so as well. Get More looks good. I'm guessing you're talking about the scoreline that's back, folks. I fixed it. Woohoo! Let's see. Darren Payne should have started this from Kingley instead of Noah Powder. I guess we might see some changes at halftime. Let me make sure I don't miss that because I was loading up. So the players are still warming up on the sidelines there, doing their halftime warm-ups. Congo might beat Jamaica. Yeah, that's going to be a hard game. And folks, in case you're wondering, I have a match preview for the next game against Gabon from a former Trinidad Tobago coach, Tom St. Feet, who has been doing amazing. People would have you believe he was some kind of crap coach, and he isn't. He's been doing great in the AFCON nations, reaching very far in the AFCON nations, the last two competitions. And, he has been doing really well. I think he was one of the top 3 coaches in AFCON in the last couple of years. So he gave us his insight into Gabon. It's great to have somebody from an actual coach from the AFCON giving me his insight. So I will be posting that up after this game is done at some point during the day to preview the Gabon game. So you could take a look at that. Let's see, back to the comments here. So yes, to answer the question, Congo will be a difficult team. Welcome, Peru 8623. Levi Garcia is too experienced to be missing the penalty. I agree. I think he's been playing in Europe a long time now. He has that armband, that personality, but it seems as if that finishing is something that he has to kind of work on in that false 9 role. We saw it not just with Derek King here, but Dwight York, even with Angus Eve. I remember when we had the playoff game against Canada, we did have a good chance with Levi, and it was a very good save from Crepeau from Canada, but finishing has been our problem, folks. Finishing. Let's see. So welcome. I hope I'm pronouncing this correct. Peru 8623. Like I said, folks, keep the subscriptions and liking the stream because it helps. Soka Baptiste, welcome back. I would sub Telfa. A lot of people seem to not be happy with Telfa. I think he did okay, but there's no final product. He does a lot of work. He has a lot of pace. He does a lot of defensive work. So he does often drop and assist the wing back sometimes when they overlap. Peru saying Telfa is crap. So yeah. So Farid Hussein, Iran not playing in the World Cup. Any word on the country that will take their place? That is a good question. I'm guessing more than likely maybe the second place team in that particular qualifier may take the spot. I do have a bit of a personal situation with Qatar. I was supposed to be in Qatar right now, and I did not go because of that situation in the Middle East. So the teams are coming back. The players are coming back on, but I'll answer a few questions as well. If we get a good coach, TT will do great. I was hoping we'd have kept York, but I always knew financially. We did a reaction video for that. I always knew it was going to be tough to sustain that staff. And, there's a lot of distrust. A lot of people don't really want to invest in Trinidad and Tobago football because of past corruption and, in some cases, present. So we'll see. Glad to see Rion back in the squad. He has been performing well for his club. Oran Hernandez, fabulous job, bro. I'm hoping it's me, and I appreciate that, as always, folks. We crossed the 3,000 subscriber mark, and it's because of each and every one of you I continue to do this. That's why I'm waking up this early in the morning. And continue to help liking and subscribing, buying stuff. It really helps the channel. I really appreciate that. Corey Matthew, anyone can miss a penalty, better and more experienced. But yeah, correct. So that's why I'm not overly picking on. Let me get the time right. So the game is about to resume. I want to make sure I get that right. So I want to make sure I get it right. And the ref is about to blow his whistle, and we're back. And my clock is working. All is well, folks. Like I said, my apologies. I usually have this on top. I kind of hastily put it back there. I had to redo it. So if you're just joining us on the live stream, we have just resumed the second half. Venezuela 0, Trinidad and Tobago 0. Levi Garcia, we're having a discussion about the missed penalty. And just to go back to your statement, Corey, Matthew, yes, you are right. Scoring penalties are not as easy as it has been in years. Keepers are very well trained. I work in sports data. I could tell you this. You literally have homework on exactly where players will kick and how to read them. These guys train a lot. There's a lot of psychological training. So it's, they know players, especially like players who do it often. It often creates doubt. But just the startings of Trinidad on the offensive here in the first half, Mocket creating some play, trying to force a 1-2 on top of the Venezuela box. Venezuela frantically clearing. But, eventually doing a good enough job to force Trinidad and Tobago back. Roblox, Gamer Boy, Messi hat-trick tonight. Yeah, maybe. Scaloni, for those of you who know, I'm a big Argentina fan. That's no secret. For those of you, Panicelli, who has been playing great for Strasbourg in France, was called up and he got his ACL torn. That was one of Argentina's possible third new strikers. That's such a cruel thing, for any team, not just Argentina. So I'll definitely, a lot of people have been telling me to do some live streams of Argentina, but most of the time Argentina games clash with Trinidad. It's very hard to do that. So a long ball up in front there. Venezuela making a bit of a meal of it, but getting it. Corey Matthew, poor excuse. Yeah, I mean, it is rough. It is rough. I thought he could have scored that with his experience. So Trinidad on the offensive in the first minute of the second half. We started off quickly just like the first half. Venezuela keeping possession, trying to slow the play down. And, I think they are aware that we're dangerous at pace. So they're taking their time, getting their chances. And I think with all the disappointments recently, a very interesting through ball that could have been problematic, but Jaren Jackie doing a very good job. I've been very impressed with Jaren Jackie. And not to boast, but I remembered one of my first EXTV interviews was with Jaren Jackie. When I first started this, folks, with a little mobile device and a microphone when I first created EXTV, and now it's become this beautiful family we have right now. You all could dig around in the YouTube channel and find that. So it's great to see him blossom into this player. Cardin's doing well to defend, but, forcing a foul there, showing some good sportsmanship. Rio Cardines has the potential to be, I think, a captain for Trinidad and Tobago as well. It kind of reminds me of Carlos Edwards, not just because he's in the same position, but the same sort of all-action style. I think he has been a great addition to this national team. So Venezuela with a free kick. Let's see. Smith had some problems clearing the ball, but Venezuela, to their credit, they do cause problems. They do have a physical presence. As with most South American teams in the box, it's whipped in a low cross, and they have tried to do some clever things, but the execution was, they did catch the defense a bit flat, whipping the ball across the top of the box where it was over the bar. much to my relief. So going here now, not an excuse but facts. I understand both points from Korea and Peru. Penalties can be missed, and also I also think he should have scored it. But you know, that's the toughness about why they're footballers and we're on the couches here sitting. You know, we could say that. Roblox Gamer Boy, the local leagues in Trinidad are so poor. Rather watch MLS League in America than local Trinidad. Yeah, it has definitely went down. I worked at Central FC for a little while. I think our league was at a pretty good place around 2014 to 2016. And then I think with the changes in the presidency and situation in Trinidad and Tobago and then COVID and a whole bunch of things, I think the quality went down and just financial mismanagement, the usual stuff. So Venezuela having a free kick, a good distance out. They have been trying different solutions. And what I will say is, folks, the good thing about this FIFA series, while, you know, people may say FIFA is a money-grubbing organization, whatever, it's good for the smaller teams. I think the smaller teams benefit from these sort of things. More exposure, more playing time, better quality opposition, teams playing in competitive settings, you know, winning these sort of games builds that winning mentality. Winning is a habit, folks. So Trinidad and Tobago setting up their wall. There seems to be a very passionate discussion with Levi and those guys about the wall. They have adopted the position with having a player lying down in the wall. I remember that first got popular again with Inter Milan with Brozovic, and now everybody's doing it again. So Venezuela, Mendoza on the ball here. A good distance out. Pretty not bad, but just off target in the end. And I think so far the set pieces have not been great. So welcome. I'm seeing TJ777. Am I pronouncing your name correctly? It's hard to take TT football serious when you consider the jokey federation we have, and I cannot disagree with you. There's a lot of nonsense that goes on. There's in the past, and there's people that are there right now that shouldn't be there. Trinidad putting some pressure, forcing a bit of a shaky clearance from Venezuela, but doing well to kind of calmly pass the ball around. Venezuela is a pretty good team in possession. They have improved significantly over the last 15 years. Mocket winning the ball high up the pitch, putting the ball out wide. Levi taking on his man where we want him to be, whipping the ball across as we would like. Could this be a goal for us? 1-0. Trinidad and Tobago, 1-0. Finally, folks, who scored it? You notice I'm kind of dampening my expectations here because I have trauma from the Jamaica game. A beautiful cutback by Levi Garcia for a goal for Trinidad and Tobago. We want more. If you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. So let me fix the scoreline. It's so exciting to put 1-0 for Trinidad and Tobago. Let's do that, folks. It is now 1-0 Trinidad and Tobago. Well done, boys. So let me load my stream back up. So it is now the 51st minute. If you're just joining us, Trinidad and Tobago has now taken the lead 1-0 with a beautiful cutback from Levi Garcia taking on his man. Interception. Mocket has to be credited with winning that ball high up the pitch, passing the ball wide out to Levi Garcia, who got it to More. Yes. Beautiful. Composed. And that's what we were talking about, the composure in front of goal. And we have been showing these signs of improvement even with the Dwight York era. I really wanted to do a lot of people have been asking me to do an interview because some people made an interesting point. Very interesting celebration. He did the Spider-Man thing. Interesting. And I like that. Clearly he's a Marvel fan. So Venezuela trying to react now. There's a corner. But a lot of people said they wanted me to do the interview because sometimes when you do it to the TTFA and so on, it sounds kind of self-serving. Maybe I might bring him in the studio like, I did Kenwin Jones. What do you want, folks? If enough people ask for it, I could try to get it done. It's going to be difficult, but I could try to get it done. I was supposed to be in Qatar right now, which is where he is. But because of the situation for the Finalissima, but I'm here. So Venezuela trying to react quickly, as expected. Trinidad and Tobago doing well. A quick release. Trying to release Levi on the wing there. So let's see how we can manage the game, folks. So we got that bit of the monkey off our back with scoring the goal. So more. Of course, we all know that Angus Eve meme. I want more! Anyway, so let's read some of the comments. Sean Lyons, more, of course. Corey Matthews, an important player for Trinidad Tobago, so he made his mistake. Yeah, listen, it happens. I know you guys still talking about the penalty, but it's something we really need to work on. I understand the frustration from both ends of wanting the goal to score. Devon Moore is comfortable in front of goal and has something to prove. Same for Market. And yes, Market deserves... I always saw him as a successor to Molino. I still think Molino should have stuck around to kind of groom the players in, but I think Market has been groomed for that position a long time now. He has been highlighted to me by a couple of players. He was first mentioned to me by Stern John when Dennis Lawrence was the coach, and I've been paying more attention to him since then. And he clearly is seen by at least our local people, that guy. And Derek King is very familiar with our local players. He worked with the previous national coaches. He has worked in the Pro League, had success. And I know this is a hot take, but outside him, the only other person I think had some very good success is Terry Fennick. I personally believe, and I say this without apology, Terry Fennick was given a Trinidad Tobago team at the worst possible time and not given a fair chance. That's my opinion. So, Venezuela in here, trying to create. Oh no, is that a penalty? They are calling for a penalty. The ref is gesturing for the Venezuelan player to get up. But we have to be careful. Venezuela are starting to put some pressure on us. Why was Rian Moore not playing previously? Wonderful. A lot of people asked that question, Ronnie. A lot of people asked that question. Devon, I kind of lost track of the comments. Devon Moore is... okay, I read that one. I'd say bring on Payne now. Yeah, I guess between now and the 60th minute, we have to manage the game and see how it's going. Like I was saying, Derek King has been around long enough where he kind of understands the local players a lot. He has that familiarity with them. He has been working with a lot of since all the way back. Stephen Hart is a former player. So, in a lot of ways, Derek King has benefited from working with different coaches, Angus as well. And who knows? Who knows? Maybe, if he gets the results he needs to get. I personally don't have much of a problem with Derek King taking over. That's not just because I know him. I think with our finances and not being able, we all want A-list coaches, but Derek King. So back to the game, folks. 56 minutes in, a beautiful goal by Rian Moore. One high up the pitch by Mocket and pass to Levi Garcia, who took on his man and passed the ball in. And I think, those guys showed that very good combination play that you need for that sort of football. For the next game, folks, I was told I will do a TikTok and Instagram live stream while it's going on as well. I'm trying new things. I don't know why the scoreline did not work in the first half, but it's working now. You can check out the match preview for this game and also the preview for the next game after the live stream. Don't forget to like and subscribe, folks, if you haven't done so already. It really helps the channel. It really helps the channel. So I'm seeing some new subscribers popping in there. Ebrima subscribed. So folks, we crossed the 3,000 mark. Let's do some more. Everybody's in here. If you haven't subscribed already, do that. It really helps. I'm in Trinidad and Tobago. Venezuela applying some pressure, trying to get back into the game. But the thing is, the game is now in our favor. If Trinidad and Tobago can be composed and withstand the inevitable backlash, I don't know if we could probably sneak a second goal. I don't know if you guys are hearing my background, but there's actually a chicken in the background who's making a lot of noise. That's how you know I'm from Trinidad and Tobago. I'm hearing it back. Did you guys hear that, or is my mic working really well? That's hilarious. I hope you guys are hearing it, which is absolutely hilarious. Farid Hussein, I'm watching it live on FIFA Plus as well. Them Veni only throwing themselves down. There's a lot of Venezuelans in Trinidad, so I would love to hear their opinion. So like I said, folks, don't forget to like and subscribe. Pause. If I'm going to ask you, pause, subscribe, like the video. It really helps. Also, follow us on those socials down here. So Venezuela, obviously, as expected after the goal, have put some pressure on us. They're trying to retaliate quickly. I think we need to show some grit and not get like a 1-1. I was expecting us, and I'm glad I am wrong, and I said that in the preview. I know Venezuela were on paper the favorites, but I would love to be wrong. I would love to be wrong, and we win this game. I think we just need to withstand this moment of pressure from Venezuela and calm things down. Smith doing well to get to the ball. I see Rondon is coming on. Rondon actually looks like a Trinidadian guy. Looks like a kind of East Indian Trinidadian guy. Buff. Rondon is one of their big strikers, so they are bringing him on. Obviously, the intent is to get some goals. He has a lot of experience. Copa America, World Cup qualifiers. Very good in the air for Venezuela. Venezuela have some weapons they can bring on, and they are bringing them on. I see Rondon is coming on, and I didn't see the other guy who's coming on. So Derek King is going to have to take a look at the game now and assess with Rondon coming on. What I like about Jaren Jackie, he kind of does the role that Bastoni does for Italy and Inter Milan. A bit of a giveaway. Venezuela in the box here. And Venezuela equalizes. Oh, my goodness. They put the pressure on us and they equalized. Oh, my goodness. Yes. They put the pressure and they got that goal. I felt as if I have been singing Jaren Jackie's praises, but he ran up trying to take some pressure off the defense. Venezuela scores. Not good. Not good at all. So, once again, my joy has been taken away, but it's still 1-1. It's not the worst result in the world. So, Jaren Jackie was dispossessed. A quick, direct ball into the box. And Smith was beaten at his near post. I feel as if he should have done a bit better there. But yes, unfortunately, it's now 1-1 in the 59th minute. If you're just joining us, Trinidad scored a couple of minutes ago, and now Venezuela has equalized. And that was my concern, the inevitable retaliation of Venezuela putting some pressure and scoring on us. So that shows, we are still a bit soft in the back. So it is now 1-1 in the 60th minute. Venezuela equalized, and Venezuela now bringing on their 3 subs. They have some good weapons. They have Segovia, who plays for Inter Miami. The ref is checking something. So Segovia is coming on. He plays with Messi at Inter Miami. Very talented midfielder. He could cause some problems for us. Now, it's now 1-1 for Venezuela. So Segovia, Rondon, and I didn't see the third guy coming on. The graphic will tell me. Cáceres, the number 8 is coming on. Very powerful midfielder. So Venezuela are bringing on the big guns. Segovia and Rondon are coming on. So that's going to be a real test to see how Trinidad handles that, because even without those guys, Venezuela equalized. Segovia is a very talented sort of metronome type of player who floats in and around all over the pitch. He has been playing under Leo Messi. So Marquez, Gonzalez, and La Madrid come out. And Rondon, Cáceres, and Segovia are in. Rondon and Segovia are very talented attacking players. Rondon is a big number 9. Segovia is at number 10. And of course, if you're just joining us, Venezuela equalized with Alfonso in the 60th minute. Due to a dispossession, Trinidad losing the ball in the middle. And I felt as if we could have done better. So if you're just joining us, it's 1-1 in the first half. Levi Garcia missing a penalty in the 2nd minute. I'm seeing here in the comment section, Roblox Rafinha from Barcelona picked up another injury. So for Brazil and Barcelona, that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing at all. So, you could let me know, you Barcelona fans out there, what you think about that, if it's not going to mess up your season. Venezuela has quick players. I think the goal may have woken them up, because I know Venezuela is a very good team. A very good team. So Trinidad Tobago is going to have to be careful, because with Segovia and Rondon on, that adds an aerial threat and that attacking problem in the middle of the pitch. So Sami Guilame Sam, welcome. Welcome to the chat. Sami is, are you from Venezuela? Welcome to the chat. Let me know where you're from, Sami. Don't forget to subscribe. Welcome. What do you think about the game so far? Venezuela, it's 1-1. Venezuela have some very talented players that just came on. Rondon, Segovia. So those guys are definitely going to cause us some problems. A perfect example of what I was talking about with Rondon. Holding up the ball, physically very imposing, and laying the ball off. So, that's what he brings. That's the characteristics he brings to the team. So we have to be very careful now, because Venezuela can easily now, turn the screws into us. Sami, am I pronouncing the name correctly? Sami Guilome. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Guilame. I'm doing it terrible. Please tell me how. Let me know where you're from, and welcome to the live stream. If King is aware of the players Venezuela just brought on, he'd make it. Yes, correct. I think he definitely needs to make some changes. because Segovia and Rondon and I keep forgetting his name. The number 8. These three guys are massive regulars for the national team and can cause a lot of problems in midfield. A lot of problems. And you could already see the energy increase so far. Trinidad trying. It's like a totally different game now. Before it was a bit more cagey and reserved, but Venezuela now are turning on the screw. Segovia on the ball as expected, already getting involved, creating a wonderful 1-2. This could be a problem for Trinidad and Tobago. Segovia on the ball. Very intelligent ball out wide. Shot for Venezuela over the bar. Segovia and Rondon already causing problems in that particular area as expected. But a terrible finish by Mendoza, blasting it over the bar. But that's exactly what you expect with those kind of players. Mendoza is a very good passer of the ball. I mean, he has a mentor in Leo Messi at Inter Miami every week. He plays a high standard of football. So he's already making the sub. So I'm seeing Nathaniel James warming up on the sideline there. And they're going to have to possibly reinforce the middle a little bit. I don't know. Roblox Gamer, France has a very good team in the World Cup. They have depth. They could have 4 teams. Yeah, correct. They do have a lot of depth. Just back to the game there. So Venezuela now turning it on. Segovia once again on the ball. Venezuela going down the right side. Trinidad and Tobago now doing a bit more chasing than they were before. And clearly this was our next gear Venezuela could have stepped into. Venezuela with a lot of combination play. Trinidad trying to pull Trinidad out of shape. Trinidad has to now a very composed chest back to the keeper there. So now, Smith trying to calm things down. So now they're pressing us high up the pitch. So Trinidad is now going to have to try to play out the press. And, it's not going to be as easy to keep possession as we did in the first half. So that's why these games are important, folks. Playing against teams like this that could really step it up. I must hydrate. So yes, it's Nathaniel James and Real Gill. Yes, that's correct. Okay, I see Kingsley has me on my toes here. So folks, like I said, this is going to be a long, 30 minutes for us with these players on. For those of you who follow football at any level, the 3 players that Venezuela brought on, Carrasco, Segovia, and Rondon, highly problematic for us now. And you could see the immediate difference. Even before they came on, Venezuela increased their intensity, and it resulted in a goal. So we have to be very careful. Segovia is getting in those spaces. Venezuela a bit more aggressive, finding those spaces, getting a ball in the box, a through ball in, finding oh my goodness, second goal. We saw it coming, folks. Venezuela turned it on, and that was a beautiful pass. I felt as if it should have been cleared. Venezuela coach looking a little bit smug there, like we expected that. So it is now 2-1 to Venezuela. And, the substitutions are making a difference. They have been kind of running us ragged for the last 5 minutes since we scored the goal. So what it's really showing is when teams really turn it on, how much of a problem they can cause us. The pace of the game increased. So you could see it was a low cross that should have been dealt with better. If you look at the replay, you could see the cross whipped across, a low cross, the double tap in EA Sports as we call it. And I felt as if, I'm not sure, I don't think that was Jaren Jackie. They were scared to just get the ball. Lucas, welcome. Venezuela, welcome to the stream, Lucas. It is 2-1. I know there's some Venezuelans in here. So let me update the score really quickly on my live stream here. Unfortunately now, Venezuela do have talented players. They do have talented players. So it is now 2-1 to Venezuela. And I'm not surprised with the introduction of Segovia, Rondon, and Carrasco that Venezuela has turned on that gear. Like they knew they had that gear. So 4 substitutes on the sideline here for Trinidad and Tobago. Telfa is coming off. A large amount of substitutes. Mocket is coming off. I'm not sure if taking off Mocket was a good idea. I felt these subs should have probably been made maybe a couple minutes ago. But to be fair, Venezuela turned the game on. Roel Mitchell is coming on. So Telfa, Mocket, Gilbert, and Moore are coming off. And coming on, it's Real Gill, Nathaniel James, David, and Roel Mitchell. So although I would like us to win, I'm not entirely surprised by this. I watch a lot of South American football, and Venezuela is a very good team. So Alfonso getting those 2 goals, he has been getting a lot of leeway down that right side, and I'm not surprised with the introduction of Rondon, Segovia, and Carrasco, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Roblox game, I heard Angus Eve is coming back to coach. Folks, let me know what you think about that. Do you think Angus Eve should return? What are your thoughts on that? I'm seeing the replay here. So we should have done better with that cross, but I could see with those low crosses, sometimes defenders are reluctant to kind of put their foot out there because then they could possibly get their own goal. And that's why those low crosses are very tricky, because if you stick your foot out, one miscalculation and it goes straight into the goal. So now Trinidad, our backs are against the wall. Venezuela has turned on another gear here now. Trinidad trying to get the ball. Segovia doing very well. You could see the influence of Messi on him. Very calm, evading a tackle, and, you know, keeping possession. So Venezuela have switched it up, turned it up a notch on us. And I'm seeing in the comments here, you're all talking about Angus. So once again, they're going on the right side there. Smith with a cheeky clearance. Trinidad Tobago trying to keep possession, which is impressive. They're not just going to try to clear the ball. But Venezuela, once again, I think Segovia and Rondon are going to be the key difference here. And this is going to be a real test for our midfield and defense and keeping structure. My biggest fear was conceding that goal, and we got it. Venezuela doing really well to dissect our defense, getting past Cardines, risking a penalty. It was a very well-timed tackle that could have easily been a penalty. I'm hoping it's not. But this is why I really like playing against teams like Venezuela. It gives us a good assessment on where we are. I'm seeing the ref having a discussion here. Is that a penalty discussion? Man, why are they playing behind closed doors? Is it closed doors, or is it that just nobody's there? Like some of these Pro League games in Trinidad. Kingley, Angus coming back where he can coach again according to the TTFA. Sean, Shiggy let that ball through. So there's some kind of discussion going. To me, it looked like very close to a penalty call. But to be fair, Venezuela are not saying much. Oh, they're looking at the replay here on Cardines. Oh, he just fell. Okay, so he fell and kind of crashed into our player. Yeah, those things are very, very... So Jaren Jackie getting on the worst end of that tackle. And this is the kind of physicality and type of fast-paced play that Trinidad needs to get used to. We need to play more games like this, and our national league needs to be at that level and improve. So this is good. I'm seeing Oba on the field there taking care of his guy. Oba takes care of my shoulder, folks. I do have a torn rotator cuff. So, oh, it was not Jaren Jackie. My bad. What did I throw down there? I just threw down my phone. So Nathaniel James drinking some water. But if you're just joining us, folks, it is 2-1 Venezuela 2. Trinidad Tobago 1. Trinidad scoring with Rion Moore, but Venezuela responding very quickly with 2 goals. And now we're in a bit of a tight spot here. But this is good. These are the games where you learn and you get better. You play better teams and you improve. You see when teams, the level we need to be at. Venezuela turned it up a notch and we conceded 2 goals. And you could see the players trying to, you know, compose themselves. And I think they're doing at least attempting to try to pass the ball around and not panic. But you're seeing the difference in levels here now in terms of physicality and so on. I felt as if we could have done better, at least for the second goal. On paper, it could have been 2-2, but, you know, Levi Garcia missed that penalty in the first half. Derek King is a joke. Yeah, a foreign coach. Angus would not change much. We need an international foreign coach. We need an international coach, and we need money, folks. Trinidad Tobago does not have the money. A lot of teams are scared to invest in the TTFA. And, you know, the corruption of the previous times has hurt us. That's a real problem. A lot of people don't talk about that. A lot of people are, you know, based on what we're doing. Nathaniel Garcia being fouled. Clearly they understand the threat of Nathaniel drawing a free kick. So a yellow card for Gleicar Mendoza from Venezuela for a foul on Nathaniel James. Yellow card. So Cardines, another substitute for Trinidad and Tobago. Yes, a good foreign coach. And the thing is, Trinidad Tobago, you know, we were talking about, I have a match review coming up with a former Trinidad Tobago coach, Tom St. Feet, Garcia coming off, Pierre coming in. And it's what we can afford as well, folks. So that's another thing. Stephen Hart, I don't know if Stephen Hart want to come back. Rio Cardines with a delivery. And Trinidad has to know that, listen, if we do take on, attack Venezuela, we can't cause them problems. They are not a fortress in defense. So Trinidad has to try to get some composure, get back in the game. Cardines with a attempt at releasing Raul Mitchell, I believe. Oh, Levi Garcia. Levi Garcia gesturing him to calm down. There is some time for Trinidad to try to pull something back from this game. You know, if it's one thing we're learning from just looking at this game, that, you know, certain teams, you know, when they turn that speed up, the intensity of speed, you know, you can see how it causes problems. I know this is not our strongest lineup, but this is a pretty strong lineup. A lot of core players. So Cardines is going to do one of his trademark long throw-ins. Bit of jostling in the box there. You know, aerial prowess does not seem to be our strongest point. But if the analysts for Trinidad Tobago did their research and we can manage to get some possession, you can take on the Venezuelan players. But, you know, kudos to Venezuela. When you bring on players like Segovia and so on, they are very good at game management, slowing the game down, speeding it up when you need to. They turned up the intensity when they needed to. There was a couple of moments where we tried to press them really hard, which is what you should do. And he effortlessly played out and, you know, just took the pressure off his players. So Venezuela now, the center back, making a surging run into the middle area, causing some problems for our midfield. Rondon dropping deep. Ball is out wide. Cardines marking his man. Venezuela really trying to step up the pace of the game here now. Judah Garcia cannot make the national team. Why? That's a good question. I haven't been keeping in touch with him. Venezuela. Segovia with a shot outside the box, and he is capable of shots outside the box. Jaren doing well to block it. Jaren Jackie. So a corner for Venezuela. So folks, 75 minutes in, it's 2-1 to Venezuela in the FIFA series. Our next game is against Gabon. What do you think about the game so far for those of you in the live stream? Like I said, if you're just joining us and you're new, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps. Follow us on all those socials as well. We do giveaways as well. Do it. Do it. Segovia. There's a little bit of jostling in the box there. Segovia is waiting. The referee's having a discussion with Osio. And I can't see who the other person is, but there's a bit of jostling. So the ref, I think the ref has been okay. I have no complaints about the ref. I don't know if you all did, but I can't complain about the ref. Segovia taking the set piece, a short. They've tried different types of corners. Long, short, near post, far post. None of them has worked so far. So I see Kinley is saying, I think Canadian-based manager Stephen Hart should return and take over as the coach of Trinidad. Would he want to return? So we're seeing Gonzalez, Quintero, and Sosa coming on. So that's... Let's see how that goes for us. So I think all the coaches are making their substitutions. Derek King, you know, being the interim coach. Athena, welcome back. Good morning. You know, it's an early morning game for us. I know a lot of people on the highway probably in their office now settling in. So everybody, I'm really glad that you all are taking in the stream. It's very early. And supporting my stream, I really appreciate every single one of you. Every stream has been very successful, and I want to try to, not just locally, but across the planet. And I really try to make the streams better. I did have a technical glitch at the beginning. I don't know why my score was not showing up in the first half. So I had to fix it at halftime. So those of you who are patient with me to fix it, it is 2-1. And Venezuela look to be somewhat in control of the game now. They scored. And then, so for Venezuela, Balbo, Mendoza, and Riarte are off, and Quintero, Sosa, and Gonzalez are on. So Venezuela have been trying different ways of attacking, and that low cross seems to be causing us some problems. Venezuela with a lot of attacking, passing combinations on top of our box, which has been causing problems. And as expected, Carrasco taking a long-range shot. He is a very, very athletic, fast, hard-working player with very solid technique. Jason Brown, hope TTFA could really consider to bring back Stephen Hart with his group of players. World Cup guaranteed because we have a young team. You know, once again, before I get to that, Segovia once again causing problems for us. Trinidad on the back foot now, clearly. Venezuela putting their foot down. Trinidad trying to get some passing combinations. Doing okay. Levi Garcia dropping a bit deep to try to get possession, drawing a foul. But Venezuela clearly showing that they can step it up a notch. As for Stephen Hart, you know, it would be nice for him to come back. Would he want to come back after how he was treated? You know, will he get the resources he needs? That's a thing we need to talk about, folks. You know, even if we get a coach, we need the right friendlies, the right resources, there's a lot of things that goes on behind the scenes to make football run properly. And, you know, money is that's one of the things as well. What about Colombian-based Oscar Pareja? There's a lot of good players that are not in here. There's a guy, I can't remember his name. Very diminutive player. I don't want to say short, but very talented. I didn't get to look at the Venezuela squad really well due to this hastily put together stream. I think one of the problems in Trinidad Tobago football is that you're going to hear from the media, we played well since the subs, we barely touched. Correct. This is just showing, I think now, the quality of Venezuela. Well, we have a chance now in the box here. Cutting in, this could be a shot for us. He should have passed the ball to Roel Mitchell. I think there was a little bit of a poor decision by Nathaniel James. He could have just touched it to Roel. James would have had an open goal, but he chose to shoot and forcing a save. So we have created a chance. But just to go back to what Davon was saying, it just shows you that, you know, there is a level. We are like 1 or 2 levels under these teams. And this is Venezuela, that you know, they can step it up to a certain pace and cause us problems. We could compete, but maybe not for the 90 minutes. But the game isn't over yet. Cardin's whipping in a corner here. Comfortably, somewhat headed away by Venezuela. Trinidad trying to win pressure. Venezuela trying to launch a counter-attack. A bit of skill there, as we say in Trinidad and Tobago. The ball is out wide to Rondon. This could be a chance of Venezuela. Rondon has a lot of experience. Can he finish? And he does. Is it offside, though? It looked offside to me, so I'm not going to celebrate for Venezuela yet. Is it offside? Okay, it is a goal. Rondon. That looked offside. I could understand why Smith is upset. It looked a little bit offside, so before I change the score, let's take a quick look. But Rondon, of course, as expected, score. But that looked offside to me. But let's take a look at the replay. They're going to have to show a replay. I'm going to add the score in the meantime. Venezuela 3, Trinidad and Tobago 1. Rondon. Very direct ball from Carrasco, I think. But that looked very offside to me. But let's take a look at the replay. I could be wrong. I'm not seeing the replay. I'm not surprised that Rondon got on it. So let's take a look at the replay. So that looked offside, folks. I'm looking at the replay here. That's very, very close. I need to understand what was going on and why the ref did not. And of course the camera angle is terrible. You can't, the angle I'm seeing here, you can't tell, but he looked at least 1 foot offside. Unless it was perfectly timed. I need to see another replay. I need to see another replay. The replay is not showing the angle well enough. I don't know if that's intentional or not. I was just saying we have no problems with the ref, but this is more the linesman. Yeah, I think we got done dirty there, folks. That should have been offside from what I've seen. I'm surprised they didn't even look at it. Cardines is coming off for Yearwood. I think that was an offside goal, folks. But I mean, to be fair, Venezuela have been creating chances. But, you know, the reason why I have a problem with that is that, you know, it gives a false impression sometimes. But, you know, Venezuela have stepped up that gear, as I said multiple times. And you could see that change in pace definitely threw our players off. And that's why it's important to play. Look, so we're looking again. Oh, they're showing the line. So we're seeing the replay. Oh, wow, he was. So it was perfectly timed. So they drew the line and everything. So, folks, it was a very well-timed run by Rondon. And I should not be surprised. You know, he's an experienced guy. So this loss, yes, it would drop us back in the rankings. We would probably get knocked out today unless we get a result against Gabon. It may neutralize that a bit. But, you know, Trinidad needs to really... We almost created a chance just now, and, you know, we threw it away, and then Venezuela scores. So Trinidad now trying to create a chance here. Segovia showing a lot of composure in his own half. Showing his class. Clearly, he's been taking some lessons from Messi in terms of keeping possession. Trinidad trying to apply some pressure. And the thing is, we can. I keep saying this because I look at Venezuela all the time. We do put some pressure on them. We will create chances. However, you know, Venezuela has created their chances, and they have been creating chances, and they took their chances. And, you know, Venezuela look way more comfortable. I think in a lot of ways, the goal woke up Venezuela. The goal definitely made a big difference. Once again, is that another goal? Because that was a brilliant... Another goal for Venezuela. Rondon getting his 4th goal. A brilliant pass. An out-swinging pass on the floor, going between our back four, curling perfectly to Rondon. And wow, that Venezuela coach looks smug. He is not humble at all. At all. So Rondon getting the 4th goal. So what a bit of a collapse in the end there. But I'm not surprised the way how Venezuela was playing in the end there. If you're just joining us, Venezuela getting their 4th goal from Rondon. A beautiful pass. I didn't get to see who did the pass though. Number 24 for Venezuela. I can't see who it is. Going straight through our defense. Penetrating our defense. Should have been intercepted a bit more. And Rondon just taking advantage and scoring. So Venezuela, folks, if you're just joining us, in the 85th minute, Rondon scoring the 4th goal for Venezuela. We scored first, and Venezuela equalized. And now they're bringing on their backup goalkeeper. Camarago, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. So Venezuela are trying out some players as well. I guess they believe, obviously, the result is definitely a foregone conclusion. So they're trying out some players. I see the Venezuelans are all smiles. I mean, they should be happy they're winning. But I think this is a reality check for Trinidad and Tobago. While we did perform decently, it shows the level down from where we should be. So it's now 4-1. Alfonso and Varela off. And, of course, once again, Venezuela winning possession high up front. This could easily be a bit of a problem for Trinidad. Rondon, once again, confident. He's in full confident mode now. He's shooting from everywhere. Yeah, this could become very bad for us. But, folks, this is not me picking on Trinidad and Tobago. I kind of knew Venezuela were always the favorites. I think at least up until when we scored the goal. I think with the penalty miss and the goal scored, it shows that the one level up Venezuela can go that we can't handle yet. And, you know, coaches and whoever is looking at this right now is going to have to take a look at that, where Venezuela just switched it on and we fell apart. So, folks, like I said, if you're just joining us, let me know your thoughts. I'm seeing it already, King. This is way embarrassment. Devon, this is an entirely different team after the substitution. And it's not because Venezuela is so good. But I would amend that statement, Devon, by saying Venezuela is a very good team. I look at South American football all the time. And I'm telling you, if they were not in the South American Confederation and they were in our confederation, they could have easily been in the USA, Mexico category right now. They used to be whipping boys for South America all the way back in the early 2000s. That's not the case anymore. When you play top quality opposition like Argentina and Brazil and Colombia and Uruguay, your standard of football will definitely be high. And, you know, it shows here. Bolivia, one of the lower ranked teams, even though it wasn't their A team and wasn't our A team. You know, the last 2 times they played us, it was 5-0, and the last game it was 3-0, I believe. So, Ronnie Joseph, why do we keep embarrassing the country? We had Stephen Hart and chased him, leave the politics out of football. Look at where Jamaica is. Believe it or not, Ronnie, in our last interview, you could go back on the YouTube channel. We had a discussion with Lance Whitaker, formerly of Sportsmax. So it was a huge honor to have him on, and we may have him on to talk about the Jamaica games. Jamaica is not entirely happy with their setup as well, and they have a lot of players playing at the higher league, so it's not, you know, the grass isn't as green as we think. But you are right. Until we get rid of all the corruption, it shows up on the field. And I can tell you now, there's people on the in the TTFA setup that they don't need to be there. They've mishandled things for years, and you know the thing is, the longer they stay, the more the damage gets. And then the problem is, if new people come in, everybody's probably going to be very impatient with them. This is not a problem you can fix overnight. Not a problem you can fix overnight. I thought with Dwight York we'd have some continuity, but of course I always knew from a financial perspective it was always going to be tough. Trinidad trying to kind of get back the scoreline into a kind of reasonable scoreline. Even if Levi Garcia did score that penalty, I think the game would have still ended this way. Kingley, them Jamaican lost, are not happy with the Reggae Boys' performance despite one. Yeah, correct. You know, Kingley's just verifying what I'm saying. And Lance Whitaker, we do have that interview. You could check that out up here. I have links. Head over to the YouTube channel. It's there. Where Lance Whitaker explained that when we went through that, when we had the interview with him. We have people like him, Kenwin Jones, and so on. Where we have these kind of discussions. There is a video I was working on. It's not live. It was going to be edited. But folks in the live stream, let me know right now. You know, I'm going to resume the EXTV live, where I talk about topics every week. We all decide the topics. It takes a lot of work to do, but if you guys want it, I will resume it. Because it takes a lot of work to prepare. The viewership has been great. And we could talk about these things further after the game. And we'll be having a reaction afterwards. So there's 4 minutes of extra time for the game. And I'm guessing for Trinidad and Tobago, it couldn't come soon enough. So 4 minutes of extra time. See, my graphic works. So if you're just joining us, which is hard to believe because I know it's an early game and some people are at work. We're approaching the end. 4 minutes of extra time. It is 4-0. Venezuela 4, Trinidad and Tobago 1. Trinidad and Tobago missing a penalty. Venezuela is not Venezuela's coach again. No more. I think Batista was one of the reasons why Venezuela kind of stepped up a bit in recent times. Them, Jamaica lost. I'm not happy. Oh, I read that already. Sorry. Kingley, we must get a big win over Gabon. If not, Derek King will be blamed for this. And the thing is, I mean, Derek King is an interim coach. And, you know, I don't think anybody thinks he's really going to take the job. But I think he's one of the few people who has been around long enough to really understand the team, understand how they play. I think Derek King wants us to play attacking football. Very much like Stephen Hart and those other guys. And, you know, in this particular game, I think this game reveals where we are as a national team. While we have improved in a lot of areas, you know, when you play opposition like this, it shows the gap where we are and where we need to be. And that's why it's important to play teams like this, because we could sit down and play the Bermudas and so on. And to be fair, you know, it seems as if there was a phrase somebody said, sometimes we drop down to the level of the other team. Sometimes we don't dominate teams. For example, that game that was a 2-2 draw against Bermuda in the last qualifier with the crazy mix-up with the scoreline. You know, to me, that's an example of the problems at Trinidad and Tobago that, you know, besides tactics and players, is a mentality issue. It's a lot of problems. We can't talk about that in 5 minutes on this stream. Interim coaches are one of the most lowest coaches in football. We can't afford to lose all matches in Nations League. Yeah, this is why I was hoping we could have held on to Dwight York. Gabon is going to be a very difficult team. I feel as if maybe that intensity and star power that Dwight York brought elevated the team a little bit. And that's a factor we have to take into consideration, folks. You know, hyping players up, getting them elevated for games, activated mentally for games is very important. Because the psychological and the IQ aspect of the game, I think, as well at the higher levels are very important. Caceres, I'm seeing there's a bit of a fall there. Rao is on the floor. I have noticed that these tackles Somebody got a yellow card there. I'm trying to see really quickly who it is. But he has been, I've been watching him in the last couple of friendlies, and he does do reckless tackles. He's very enthusiastic. I think he wants to prove himself. Real Gil. One of my biggest peeves at Real Gil, I mean, his intensity is high, but sometimes I think it's a bit reckless. And I don't know, sometimes at Trinidad Tobago, I see, especially in local football, a lot of players, when they get frustrated, they start, like kicking out the players and tackling very aggressively. And sometimes they mean well. But I noticed in the last couple of games, even the game against Bolivia and so on, he would fly into players. And, that could easily be a red card on another day. Studs up challenges. Now, I'm all for pressuring. I love hard tackling players. So Athena, the TTFA, is a rabbit hole by itself. It is. It is quite a rabbit hole, of a self-inflicted rabbit hole. Venezuela in our box, looking way more composed than they were in the first half. The first half, they look a little bit nervous. A lot of 1-2s in the box there, but only because of a poor deflection in the end, it didn't result in a goal. So we're approaching the end. The ref is probably going to blow the whistle anytime now. And I think he did. I think it's full time. So, folks, Venezuela 4, Trinidad and Tobago 1. I think, as expected, I think Venezuela won. This is not me being negative. We said that in our match preview. You can take a look at that. We had wonderful data from the kind folks of SofaScore. So 2 goals from Alfonso and 2 from Rondon in the second half. 1 from Rian Moore and a penalty miss from Levi Garcia in the second minute. And, this is a brutal and an eye-opening result for Trinidad and Tobago when we were talking about progression. This is a reminder of how much work needs to be done. So I'm going to read some comments really quickly. TJ, I knew when we scored first it would be only temporary. We are so poor because there's no system and development plan in place. We would continue to see these types of performances. I agree. I think Dwight York brought that bit of intensity. He tried to address that concentrating and intensity for the 90 minutes. He spoke about that, and I think Dwight York was able to bring that out in the players. I don't think any of our local coaches have been able to do that. In that aspect. I'm not saying Dwight York was perfect, but I'm saying he definitely highlighted those things. Corey Sheppod, sad but expected. Welcome, Corey, but yes, it was expected. Len Archer, welcome back. Do our TTFA have any shame? How could they go as officials in any other place and stomach this embarrassment? We can't even organize a good local league. I'm frustrated. One of my problems, and especially for the older fans, I know for a fact, and you see them, there's a lot of people that just enjoy the plane ride. They enjoy the fact that they get to go to fly to these countries. Not the players, I'm not attacking the players, and even the coaching staff. But there's a lot of people behind the scenes that enjoy going there. I think the fact that, hey, I'm going to this other country to play a game, and the novelty of just traveling is good enough for them. A lot of people just need to just get out. They don't care about football. They don't care. And they don't have shame, to answer your question, Len. Oren Hernandez, Coach Eve, Trinidad Tobago under 17 and under 20 coach. Yeah, he did. A lot of people are saying the rumor that Angus Eve is going to come back. Derek King is full of joke. Oran Hernandez, good game for us. White Boy 2563, welcome to the live stream, White Boy, and thanks for joining us. Trinidad will never improve. I'll talk to you guys for a couple of minutes before I go. So as the group stands, Venezuela 3 points, Gabon, well, they didn't play that game yet. So Gabon, Uzbekistan 0-0, Trinidad Tobago 0. So we'll see how that game against Gabon. I do have a match preview with Thompson Feet, who coaches in the AFCON with the national team. He's done really well in the last 2 AFCON tournaments. And, he gave us his insight. He has been very successful there. And a lot of people poked fun at Thompson Feet when he was here. But he's proving us wrong in other nations. And a lot of people, including some local journalists, were poking fun at the guy because we didn't know who he was. Yet he's doing great in the AFCON. Interesting. But he gave us some very wonderful insight, and it's always an honor to have him on, to have that knowledge on, to give us that knowledge of AFCON. So look out for that. That will be coming up today, folks. So be sure to like and subscribe, and look out for that. That will be popping up at some point today. So look out for that as well. So back to the comments here. I'll read a couple before I go. White Boy, Trinidad Tobago will never improve. TTFA, why fire Dwight York? This team looked dull. You know, that's a question everybody's asking. I had a video with a reaction to that. You could check that out as well, my thoughts. I think it's just a financial issue. That's what it came down to. Younger team for the next game. Without York, things are getting much worse. Worse in TNT football, excuse me. Yes, Karen Edwards needs to go ASAP. I know a lot of people are starting to voice their disapproval of him. Uzbekistan will beat Gabon, to be honest. Oran Hernandez, thank you, bro. You're welcome, and I'm assuming for the stream. And like I said, I don't know what happened in the first half. My scoreline was not working. The chat was not there in the first half, and then eventually just came on. I have no idea what it is. I have a really good internet connection, and it didn't work. So, folks, you know, I'm gonna wrap things up. We'll have a little discussion here. Let me know where you're watching the game from. I know it's an early morning game. A lot of people were probably on their commute to work. A lot of people are from different countries. You know, what I'm going to do is before I head out, I'm going to ask each and every one of you, be sure to like this video, subscribe to this video, follow us on all our socials, be sure to purchase merch. We have the links in the description below in this and in other videos, and as well, feel free to do super chats and donations. It really helps the channel, folks. It really helps the channel. It helps the channel a lot. You know, my screen just came on there. I don't know why it's doing that. But whatever. I'll just turn it off. So continue to do that. Continue to support us. You know, I put a lot of resources into getting this thing done and to make the stream great for you all. I will be resuming the EXTV live every week. I will be doing live streams for other games. I did not do one for Jamaica, so my apologies for the Jamaican fans. But because the game was at 11 p.m. our time last night, I needed to try to get some sleep. I did not get very good sleep. So, you know, because I wanted to wake up with this game to get it done for you all. And I really appreciate you all supporting the live stream. I'll read a couple of the comments before I go. So like I said, everybody's in the stream right now. I just want you all to take a moment, if you haven't done so already, to like and subscribe to the channel. We will be having our reaction to this game and our match preview for the next game against Gabon. A lot of people have asked me to do live streams for the other games. I will be trying to do the Jamaica game once it doesn't clash with anything else. For the Jamaican viewers out there, we'll see. You know, we'd love to see. If we can't make it, obviously, we'd love to see Jamaica make it. And, you know, Lance Whitaker may probably come on for one of those as well. And we'll do that. I mean, we'll probably have somebody in the studio with me doing the stream. Maybe Kenwin Jones, maybe one of the former players. Who knows? Who knows? So with that being said, I'm going to read a couple comments before we go. Trinidad Tobago put up a solid fight in the first half. But in the second half, every time we got the ball, we always give it away. Kingsley. TJ, welcome. 777. The sad thing about it here is there's no urgency to change things. Kieran seems pretty comfortable with the situation when you've never held to account. If he changed it, it will be another incompetence. I could understand why people are saying that. A lot of people are very just generally, there's a sense of apathy and disdain for years. And it's very sad because it shows, you know, the fans want something and there's people there. And I will probably start calling names where I think people should go. But there's a lot of people right now, let's just say they're enjoying the plane rides to all these games. Let's just say that. The sad thing about it, there's no urgency to change things. Oh, I read this already, sorry. Ronnie Joseph, how do we the fans get rid of this present TTFF? Well, it's a TTFA now. And I think it's kind of like having forums like this, you know, when we do videos like this and, you know, the conversation gets out there and people start speaking their minds, because there is one big problem with Trinidad and Tobago football. When you disagree, there are people in football who think that they take it personally and they try to blacklist you. And the ability to disagree agreeably. I want to say that correctly. The ability to disagree agreeably and have discussions is clearly not something these guys are capable of. If you question them, if you dig further, and there are some people in the media who are bought and paid for, they sing the narrative they need to sing because they all help each other out. There's a group of people, I remember, you know, in the last qualifier, you see them walking around in the VIP section all pleased with themselves, getting all the perks, while coaches are not being paid properly. There are officials that are flying all over the place at the expense of, you know, the organization in the past, and, you know, the players not getting paid properly, things like that. It's ridiculous. And the thing is, the evaluation of performance, not just the coaching staff, but all around. How the media is handled, how they promote games, those things. There's just the same people there all the time, and they're never going to leave until, I think, the fans are going to have to start speaking up and being vocal in forums like this about these things. I'm here to have constructive conversation, not just mindless banter. Fire everybody. You'll never hear me saying that. I think there are some good people that really try and they're frustrated, and it's really a problem. Let's see. Comments are coming in. Peru, am I pronouncing that correctly? Peru 8623. Bring back Stephen Hart or Dwight York. Derek King is crap pooch. He's just enjoying the free food. I think Derek King is good as an assistant coach for now. I think he has a lot of knowledge about Trinidad Tobago football. I think he's good to have around. He's been around for a long time now. But, I think it's time, we try new things. But we have financial limitations, and that's a very important thing for everybody to know. Why we are in that position is also the great question. You need money to run football, folks. It's a business. Len Archer, I consider this a loss by the administration. I won't blame the players or even the coach. I agree with that, Len. I agree with that as well. I think it's definitely a massive it's a massive loss and a reflection. And for those who have been following Trinidad and Tobago football, because there's a lot of new streamers out there, young and enthusiastic, will eventually figure it out as well. Scully loves football. The Interception Pod. There's always a new generation that comes out and they're very enthusiastic, and then eventually they will learn the same thing as well. That wait a minute, it's the same problem over and over. And we could have a discussion about this. We could have an entire EXTV episode about this, folks. Right now in the stream, would you like me to do that? I used to do weekly episodes where we have topics where we talk about not just Trinidad and Tobago football, but global topics. It has done really well. The show has done really well because of all of you. I will be doing that where you all choose the topics and we speak about it for 30 minutes live. Sometimes Kenwin Jones and other people come in. You all could speak to them live. None of this is edited like television. It is proper live, fully engaged, and we could have these discussions. And like I said, continue to support the channel. When you click that like button and subscribe and comment and purchase merch and do the super chats and all these things, it really helps the channel, folks. And I really like to say a special thank you to people like Shaka Hislop, Kenwin Jones, everybody else, but most importantly, every single person who comes on my stream and comments. When you do that, you automatically qualify for a chance to win jerseys, even like this. This is a new one. It's still a label. I still have the label on, which is crazy. And you can qualify for prizes, jersey giveaways, copies of EAFC watch-alongs, and also a lot of people have been asking me to do watch-alongs for other games, and I will consider it as well, because it does take a lot of preparation and a lot of work. So I want to say a special thank you to every single one of you in the stream right now that's listening. I read every single comment. I take everything comment you say. I love the respectful nature. You all have been disagreeing in a way that's very respectable, and I have to you all need to pat yourselves on the back for that, because football discussions can go all over the place. They can go all over the place. So I'll end things by saying, I really want to say again, thank you for watching the live stream. I hope you enjoyed the live stream. I know we had some technical glitches, but at least it worked well in the end. This is an unfortunate result for us. I will be having our match preview featuring Tom St. Feet, who is the coach of Mali and the AFCON. He gave us his insight into Gabon, and you can take a look at that. That'll be posted up later. For those of you who wanted to look at the previous match preview, you could check that out. Continue to check out the comments. We have comments from Rio Cardines. I'll be trying to post up the post-match comments from Derek King and those guys when it does become accessible to us. And we'll be doing more. So look out for the reaction to this, the preview for the Trinidad and Tobago versus Gabon. I will be trying to do a live watch along as well for the Jamaica game as well, and I hope they get there. So far, I know there's a lot of Jamaican viewers out there and viewers from all over the planet. A special thank you. So with that being said, folks, I want to say a special thank you to everybody in the stream. And like I said before you go, I will say this: don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to follow all these socials here. I have different content on different forums. Head over to extvmedia.com. We don't have news. We have very personal takes on different things. You could check it out. Not just generic news. And when you do that, we also have merchandise that's delivered throughout the planet. You could purchase EXTV merch as well. It contributes to helping each channel and also charities as well. And now that we have the YouTube donation options, you can do that as well. So folks, this is Andre Suklal of EXTV. I actually was not feeling well the last stream, but I'm feeling better now. I know a lot of people are asking. And like I said, if you want to give your thoughts and suggestions, feel free. I actually think I may create a WhatsApp notification group so you all could get updates, and also click the notification bell at the bottom of this video so you could always get updates on videos, where you could send in your thoughts, suggestions, and comments, what you want to see. I want to listen. This is a two-way conversation. This is not like those boring TV shows where you send a message and hope they listen to you. And the viewership has been really high, folks. The viewership and the subscriptions has crossed 3,000. I want to head to 10,000, folks. I want to get there. So with that being said, folks, this is Andre Suklal. I really appreciate everybody. Stay tuned. I'll be seeing you all for the reactions, the match previews, and the next live stream. So, folks, I would say take care. Of course, it didn't work. So I'm still live. So I'm going to have to do this manually. So there we go. Now I'm saying, I just saw a subscriber before I went. Charmaine Babulal, welcome. Thank you for subscribing. I see you popped up on the screen there. Oh, there we go. It popped up again. So now I'm actually really going now, folks. So it's been a pleasure. Take care.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching Extra Time TV. Don't forget to like and subscribe.